Music needs to stick to picture. When you throw it up against it, it shouldn't just dribble off straight away. Score is meant to convey an emotion of the story of the movie. You can play it on its own and it may be beautiful as well, but it is written to be part of the movie. And once Ridley Scott told me, music is not the reason why. And so in film scoring, one has to remember that you're telling a story, not just writing music for music's sake. Hi, I'm Nick South. I'm a music editor and a bass player. Some of the films I've worked on are Downsizing just recently, Juno before that, or Mean Girls, or Wedding Crashers, or Mr. Popper's Penguins, a variety of films. The composer I work a lot with is Rolf Kent, and I've worked with him for quite a long time now. I think we've done about 55 movies or something like that together. When I first came out, I was doing my first musical career as a bass player, and so I had this sort of shotgun theory that you have to join 6 bands and then you've got 5 people, that's 30 people, maybe one of them will do something somewhere that can be of some use. And one of the little pallets did catch on somebody, so I got to meet a TV producer. He offered me a job at working with his production company, and that was very generous and risky of him, but he did it and he thought it would work out, and it did work out. We're in Topanga, right at the top of Topanga, and I have my studio here. And I like to work out of my studio at home because I have all my equipment here. I can make some music if I need to. I have libraries and wonderful plugins by Output. And I like the space. I like the view and I like the light. And so I really like working in my studio. Music editing I would divide up into 3 sections. First of all, there'd be the technological side. You need to know your software and how to use your equipment. You want to have a musical ear. You want to like music and appreciate music and have a feeling about music. What if you think music's right for a situation or not right? You can always ask yourself some questions that are useful. You can ask, whose point of view are we playing? That's a very useful question. Ask yourself also what the emotion of the music is. What sort of emotion should the music have in it, but also what emotion should the audience be feeling, because it might be something that's playing against what we're seeing. You could also ask, what are we missing? What would it be like if there was no music here? Would it be good? Then we don't need music. And if it's not good, then what is it missing? And that's what we need to create. And thirdly, I think you have to be aware of the political element that goes on in filmmaking or television making. The composer's quite isolated in a way. People don't always want to give back some feedback to the composer. He or she are quite highly rated, and so people are careful about what they can say, but they don't care so much about a music editor, so they can say this is just not working, or pass on something that you can try and interpret. See, I've got something here, a movie I did where the sort of main title, the introduction to the characters, the last minute, it got completely cut up and shrunk, and I had to cut that and find some different music and try and stitch it together into a sort of quilt where it would still hit the various characters as they're introduced. These were the cues that were written. There was 1, 2, and 3, and then this all got shortened down, and I had to change it from here through to about here, and try and find material that would fit all these different bits of cues that I had to try and glue together. The little characters in this have their own little band they love playing, and so down here is their music for their little band, and then up here is the score for the characters. So I had to go to a different cue number, 1M11 instead of 1M1, to bring the theme in for this character. And then the band moved, and we had to get that out and come down to the band here. That was in a different place, and it had to be shortened to fit. Now here, the wolves are introduced, and that piece had to be brought in like that, and this changed again here, and I had to bring in a different piece from reel 3 to carry on with that wolf theme. And then this fight, I had to go back to an original cue for this area and change the tempo to get it to sync a bit, not much. So if you're wondering how to use your musical skills or want to be in music in some way, I think it's very important to have a very open attitude, because there are lots of different aspects of music. You could be a composer, you could be a music supervisor, you could be a music editor, you could be a music mixer, you could be all sorts of different jobs. And so I think it's good for people to have an open mind.